Hey guys, hope you guys are all doing well. I'm back with another spiel for you guys. Over the past few weeks, I've hit up a couple record stores that are new to me. One of them in Costa Mesa called Cream Tangerine. There's the shirt there, which is a neat little shop inside of an Airstream trailer. And the other one is called Redland Vinyl down in Redlands, California. And definitely like an older style record store where everything is just, it's in alphabetical order, but everything is just mixed in together. And I had a lot of fun digging through those records there. So I'll be sharing my records that I got from those stores. I've been reading a book that I'll be sharing with you guys, and picked up a really cool CD. So let's just get started, okay? The first record I will be sharing is from my trip to Redlands, California, to Redlands Vinyl. And I went down there, quick plug real quick. I went down there to support a progressive candidate. Her name is Allison Hartson, and she's running to unseat Dianne Feinstein from her seat in the Senate for California. She's a Justice Democrat. She doesn't take any corporate PAC money. She runs on small money donations. She's for universal health care. She wants to get, her big issue, which is also my big issue, is fighting to get money out of politics. We just have too much corruption in our political system, and we need to fight the neoliberals and the neocons and get money out of politics. And that's her big thing, because I think that's the root of what's hurting our democracy. She's she's in charge of wolf-pack.com, which is a site that is geared at fighting to get money out of politics state by state. And but she had to step down from that to run for California Senate. So enough of the plug. I just wanted to get her name out there. I think she's a great candidate. So anyways, when I was down there, we stopped by Redland Vinyl, and I picked up this Walker Brothers debut. Introducing the Walker Brothers. This is original US pressing. It was also released in the UK under the title Make It Easy on Yourself, or also known as Make It Easy, with a slightly different track listing. Released on Smash Records in, I want to say early to mid 60s. And this record here is more pop oriented, with some standards on here as well as some originals. And it's got the Walker Brothers, who are John Walker, Gary Walker, and Scott Walker. And I collect Scott Walker records. He would go on to make more experimental records, more avant-garde, orchestrated pop style music. But it's neat to see where he comes from, and his voice, really stands out on this record. I really like the song "My Ship Is Coming In," but I need to spend more time with this record and listen to it a little bit more. All right, this next record I'm really excited to share, and this is an EP from John Cale, released on Illegal Records in 1977, called Animal Justice. And it's just 3 tracks on here. The standout track being Chicken Shit, and then Memphis and Hedda Gabler, which is also a pretty great track. But there's a story behind Chicken Shit. I guess if anybody's heard of the Chicken Croydon incident with John Cale, he had done a concert where he chopped the head off of a dead chicken with a meat cleaver. And the chicken was already dead, but he did that and totally shocked his audience and pissed off his bandmates, so much so that they walked off the stage and quit the band. So as a result, he wrote that song. And some people say it's not really some of his best work, but I think it's a great track. It's actually one of my favorite John Cale songs. Okay, next up, Cream Tangerine. Great store. I picked up this original U.S. pressing of The Stranglers' No More Heroes, which is their sophomore release on Elektra, or no, A&M Records in '77. This was just released 5 months after their debut, Radis Norvegicus. And, you know, anybody who knows the Stranglers knows J.J. Burnell's bass playing is like top notch. You know, with that thick, heavy sound. Oh, it's just so great. But some standout tracks here would be I Feel Like a Wog, Bring on the New Vials, No More Heroes. Yeah, good stuff here. And then the other album I picked up while I was there is, this was actually playing on their turntable when I walked in, and I was like, yeah, man, this is on my list. And it was original U.S. pressing. So that is Television's Adventure, another sophomore. This was released on Elektra Records in 1976. And this is their follow-up to their infamous Marquee Moon album, which, you know, overshadows this album. But this is a fantastic album. A little more subdued, maybe even a little more cerebral. They have their best ballad, to my mind, Carried Away, on this record. And other songs like Foxhole and The Dream's Dream. I mean, it's a really great album. Tom Verlaine's vocals and guitar playing is top notch. Okay. Next up, I have a record from indie electronic band from the UK, Broadcast. And this is the Work and Non-Work compilation released on Warp Records in 1997. And even though it's a compilation, it sounds very cohesive, like it could be a studio album. But it is a collection of their early singles and their Book Lovers EP. And these guys were around like the late 90s and early 2000s until, sadly, Trisha Keenan passed away. But her vocals complement the soundscapes on this album so well, being so haunting and sparse, and just one of those records you can sit back and close your eyes and it can take you away. In fact, here, take a listen. Okay. Next up, my aunt had, when I was down in Costa Mesa, my aunt stopped by and brought me this record, which is a very important record to me. And that is David Bowie's The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. This is a 1977 reissue in excellent condition. Apparently it came from some record executive's collection who had taken really good care of it. And I was just so pleased to get this, man. Love this album. This is a very important album. And I'm sure it's important album to a lot of people. Because it's just so hugely influential. I do have the reissue, so I'll probably keep spinning the reissue and maybe hang this up on my wall. Um, but I did spin this, and there's like no ticks or pops, and it just sounds so great. So yeah, thank you, Lori. I love that record. Okay, next up, I picked up Tom Waits' Blood Money, released 2002 on the Anti label. And what can I say about this Tom Waits record? It's, typical Tom Waits storytelling, grovelly voice, um, great songs. In fact, some of my favorite songs are Misery is the River of the World and Coney Island Baby, God's Away on Business. And I guess 10 years prior, he recorded an album called Alice, which kind of goes hand in hand with this album. I guess that Alice is a little more reserved and a little more atmospheric than this one. But I still have yet to check out Alice, so I think that's next on my list. Tom Waits is one of those artists. I was talking to a friend the other day how he was gonna dig into artists that he's familiar with and just dig deeper into their discography. Tom Waits is one of those artists where I need to do that because the few albums that I do know of his, I absolutely love, and I just I want to get to know his work a little more. All right, another reissue I picked up is Lee Scratch Perry's Disco Devil. This was re-released Record Store Day last Christmas, and I wanted to get it, but I couldn't find it, so I just saw it online for like $12 and grabbed it. This isn't the Record Store Day version. I think the Record Store Day version was red. This one's black, but I don't care. It's got two versions of a killer track here, Disco Devil. There's a like an extended disco mix, and then there's the original 7-inch version on here. Okay, moving right along. I picked up Fela Kuti, Zombie. There's some stories to say about Fela Kuti. This record is a metaphor, Zombie being a metaphor for the Nigerian government and Nigerian military particularly, because they were so against Fela Kuti's music that they pretty much burned down his commune, burning down his studio, destroying all his master tapes, throwing his mother through a window, killing her, some say. And I don't know like how true these stories are, but it's just what I've picked up, and I've got no reason to doubt it. This is a solid record. It's two songs, one song on each side. He does rather long tracks. Great Afrobeat, polyrhythms with a political message. All right, moving right along. I picked up Lead Belly. This is a thrift store find. Got it for $1 at my local Savers. Man, I was really excited to get this because I just have not been having any luck at the thrift stores lately. And this was just sitting right out front, right in front of all the records at the thrift store. I snatched it up right away. Some of my favorite songs on here are Bourgeois Blues, Looky Looky Yonder with Black Betty, and Gallows Pole. Very lo-fi, it's very old recordings, but man, you listen to these and you'll smile ear to ear. some feel-good shit, for sure, to say the least. Okay, moving right along here. Okay, I got Pavement, Slanted and Enchanted, released on Matador in 1992. Pavement are one of the more notable indie rock bands that come out of the 90s. Slanted and Enchanted is their debut album. Pavement is a Stockton, California band. They are closely related to Silver Jews, which is actually how I found out of these guys. I've heard of them through the years, but I never really sat down to listen to them. And Stephen Malcolmus, who is the lead singer for this group, is an excellent guitar player. He can write great songs. In fact, here, take a listen for yourself.
Lies and betrayals, fruit-covered nails, electricity and lust won't break the door. I've got a heavy coat, it's filled with rocks and sand, and if I lose it, I'll be coming back today. I've got a message, I'll be coming back today. I keep it in my hand. No, I'm coming back one day. I've got a system, and I'll be coming back today.
So there, you get an idea of Pavement's music there. Hope you all like that. Next up, Silver Jews, American Water. I finally got it. I had picked up The Natural Bridge about a month or two ago, and I loved it so much, and I've been hearing great things about this record. Well, of course I listened to it, on YouTube, and I really liked it. Stephen Malcolmus makes an appearance on this record, but again, David Berman's lyrics here are just really great. They're punchy one-liners. Highly recommend reading along the lyrics with this record, and just well-written songs. Smith and Jones Forever is probably my favorite track on here, but other great songs like Send in the Clouds, Random Rules, the Buckingham Rabbit. Yeah, good stuff. Silver Jews. Oh, released on Drag City, 1996. That is a 1996 pressing. Okay, we're getting near the end here. I want to quickly share a book that I've been reading with you guys. It's called Under the Big Black Sun by John Doe. Yes, just like the X record. This is a personal history of LA punk, focusing more on the first wave of punk in Los Angeles. When punk rock was more coming from an artistic, bohemian place. This was before, like the hardcore bands took over. And you hear stories, perspectives from the people who were there. People like Mike Watt and Jack Grisham from TSOL, Henry Rollins, Alice Bagg from the Bags, John Doe and Exene from X, David Allen from the Blasters, and they talk about all the bands like the Germs, the Blasters, X, the Zeros, Black Randy and the Metro Squad, all those first gen bands, the Alley Cats, the Gears, Los Lobos, all that first wave stuff. And it was a really great book because I had grown up hearing about LA punk, being from Orange County. I heard, firsthand and secondhand stories. I had read a lot, but I still got a lot out of this book. It really was neat hearing from the people who were there, their perspectives, and their stories. So yeah, definitely, if you're interested in music history, rock and roll history, punk rock history, you can't go wrong with that book. Also, let's see if I got that right. Okay, and last but certainly not least, I picked up a CD, Cubist Blues with Alan Vega, Alex Chilton, and Ben Vaughn. Sort of an accidental masterpiece here. This is an original released on Henry Rollins' label. What is it called? 2.13.61 was the record label that he had when I don't know if that's still his label, if it's still around, but that's what released this. And released in 1996, and I call it an accidental masterpiece because when this was recorded, Alan Vega, living in New York City, was recording a solo album, and Ben Vaughn, is in town and goes to visit Alan Vega in a studio. Brings along his friend Alex Chilton, and they all sat down and jammed, and they recorded a song that they really liked. So they kept recording They kept recording, and on through the night, they kept liking what they were hearing. So they did it again the next night, and then that's how this album was made. And they liked it so much that they even toured the album a bit. There is a live version of this out there too. But, it sounds a little bit unfinished. It's definitely not polished. So it's it has a demo feel to it, but great tracks on here. It would have been really neat to see what would have transpired if they took this a little further. But songs like Fat City, Candyman, Lover of Love, these are all great songs on here. Dream Baby Revisited. I highly recommend this CD. It's really hard to find though. I've been looking for it on vinyl. I haven't found one for a decent price yet, but even the CDs, they go for a pretty penny. I was lucky to find this for the price I got it. Okay, so I think that's it. That's all my records. That's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Shoot me a message. I'd like to hear from you guys, all right? Until next time, keep seeking new music, and make sure you're sharing it with your friends, all right? All right, guys. Cheers. Take care.